Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha. Om Brahma Mera Striparan Takare Banu Shashi Bhumi Sutta Buddha Shah Guru Shah Shukra Shani Rahu Keteva Sarve Graha Shantikara Bhavantu. Om. Well, greetings and welcome to another adventure of Cosmic Kev 100, your weekly astro video zine where we go through all the signs of the zodiac and give you your weekly horoscope. Also mentioning things from the sidereal zodiac, which is based on constellations rather than the common tropical zodiac that's based on seasons. So, where are we at today? Today is Friday, the 9th of September 2022, and I think one of the most interesting things about today is that tonight we are going to have Mercury go retrograde. So yeah, I know you're like, no, tell me it's not true. Well, I wish it was, and but no, it's just a thing that happens. Actually, Mercury goes retrograde more than any other planet, and see, right now we've got, Mercury is in Libra. In the Western zodiac, it will go back to Virgo on Saturday the 24th, and it won't go direct until the 2nd of October. It's 8:38 p.m. that it's going to go retrograde Pacific Daylight Time. So in the sidereal zodiac, though, you'd look in the constellation of Virgo. That's where you're going to see Mercury. That's actually an exalted position. I don't think it's going to be as bad as people might think because of that. And in the sidereal zodiac, Sun's still in Leo, so things are in dignity, and that way Saturn is in Capricorn. That's dignity there. Jupiter's in Pisces. That's dignity. That's where you would see them if you're looking at the constellations. Now, today, as far as lunar mansions go, we have a moon in Shatabishak, which is a constellation of Aquarius, and Shatabishak deals with healing, that like of hard to deal with illnesses. It's also ruled by the North Node, Rahu, which is also associated with Aquarius as well as Saturn. And so this association brings sort of this eccentricity. And I've heard that, as far as a rising sign, this is a really hard place to handle. Sometimes a sense of isolation comes. Sometimes people with moon or rising in this particular part of the zodiac kind of diss people that might even want to wish them well. They're sort of independent, but they're incredibly intelligent at the same time. Aquarius and Saturn brings all this intelligence, and so its ruling deity is Varuna, which is sort of like a spirit, maybe even kind of a little bit, could be even demonic at times. The symbol is the horizon, where we can see our limited vision. Excuse me. And so, but Shatabishak also brings a ray of light in. It can be very meditative. It can be one of the most spiritually enlightened nakshatras or lunar mansions. Now, okay, Western zodiac, Sun's in Virgo, Moon's in Pisces. We're going to have a full moon tonight, or rather early Saturday morning, just like 2:59, just before 3 p.m. And that moon will be in Purva Bhadra or Purva Bhadrapada, which is the front end of the funeral cot. It's a Jupiter-ruled nakshatra. That's 3/4 Aquarius, 1/4 Pisces. It'll be in the Aquarius portion, and so there's a lot of like burning away of old karma, but there's also like this sense of like release and getting to a place of spiritual enlightenment in that. And in the Western zodiac, we would say that Pisces deals with spiritual enlightenment, and it is that final sign of the zodiac before things get new. So everything we've been working on since the last new moon a couple weeks ago, is coming to culmination now. as we speak today, really. Today's the last one, and we'll be in waning moon period by the time we wake up. Most of us wake up Saturday morning. So we're going to just go ahead now and go sign by sign to every sign in the zodiac, and we will start with you, Aries. And so here we go. Greetings, Aries, and welcome to your horoscope. I mean, in a lot of ways this has been a really good year for you, but it's also brought a lot of personal growth. And whenever we go through personal growth, we go through growing pains. And so, you know, these challenges, but also you're closer to sort of a spiritual enlightenment right now. And you're cooking with all burners. Now, Virgo is about service to others. Sometimes we say the sixth house is about obstacles, but it's also about small pets. It's about uncles and aunts. It's about people that we work with, our co-workers in the workplace. It's about giving service to other people. And, you know, it's like the Bob Dylan song from Slow Train, you got to serve somebody. And so a lot of times we have to remind ourselves to intentionally be kind. And I've heard people say things like, well, I won't be kind to them unless they're kind to me. But when you do that, you're actually giving up your power. You're actually saying, I'm going to be a reactionary person versus being proactive. Because really, it's water puts out fire better than fire on fire in most cases. So love is like water. And when we pour that on people, there's a cooling. And there's this element of peace, you know. You might have had rough times of relationships. I think there's going to be a lot of peace to be made in relationships as we go on in the week. And then, you know, once we get into Monday, Tuesday, moon will be in Aries and you'll be rocking it hard. All right, greetings, Taurus. Welcome to your horoscope. Now, Virgo time is a really lovely time for Taurus people because it's the fifth house. And the fifth house is one of the most benefic houses. It's about your children. It's about your creative projects. It's about a place where you're being able to be a teacher, an entertainer, a leader of some sort. You're able to travel. You're able to present and take on more information. Now, Jupiter has been transiting your 12th house, and 12th house is sometimes a house of loss, but it's also a house that's ruled by Jupiter, so Jupiter actually does pretty well here. And if you keep a dream journal and you're really intent on making good karma, and one thing I was saying, it's not just about being mindful, it's about being heartful. You know, you can get lost in your head pretty easy, but if you're saying being heartful, what is loving, what moves my heart, that is where we are going to make better decisions. So you've got this whole thing now with Venus and Leo. And Venus is actually in Virgo now, so that's your fifth house. So it's like it's easier to be in your heart. It's easier for you to love. It's easier for you to be creative and put your creative projects out. So, you know, it's kind of like make hay while the sun shines, strike while the iron's hot. You got this, Taurus. You're going to have a good week. Greetings, Gemini, and welcome to your horoscope. So what are we seeing here? You know, Mars in the first house. You're very motivated to move forward. You're acting very independent right now. Virgo's a Mercury ruled sign. You're a Mercury ruled sign. You know, the thing about Mercury is it's always close to the sun. The sun is concerned with truth. Most Mercury people are concerned with truth. Now, Gemini is concerned with the surfacey, more social truth. And Virgo's concerned with the deep, maybe hidden, personal truth. And so you have to work with both right now. And a lot of people criticize Gemini or being flighty because when you're really brilliant, your mind does go a lot all over the place. And it is sort of like a sign of ADHD, you know, of attention deficit disorder. But it's not necessarily true. And it's also like some Geminis are very chatty, some are completely introspect and are quiet, receptive. I think when Mercury goes retrograde, it's about being receptive. Mercury goes retrograde in your fifth house initially. Then it goes back to the fourth house, which is the ancestors and fixed assets. So it's like any projects you've done, you might have to do them over again. It's really best to keep everything on the DL, you know, everything on the down low. Don't invest too much time in this Mercury retrograde period, other than, you know that after October 2nd, you know, the green light flashes, woo, moving forward, and allow yourself, I think, to focus on memory. You know, a lot of times Mercury in the 4th house is about history, it's about memory. Mercury in the 5th house is about learning, it's about being smart, it's about paying attention to your studies. A good teacher has to be a good student. A good student will eventually be a good teacher. Greetings, Cancer, and welcome to your horoscope. You know, your key phrase is I feel. It's all about feelings. And so in a lot of ways, you're the most heart-centered sign in the zodiac. I mean, of course, Leo rules the heart. I get that, but on a receptive level. Water reflects everything. Water is the emotions. So we look at Moon, we look at Cancer, we look at a water sign, and in the Western zodiac, we associate with that our emotional nature, our intuitive nature, our memory, our sense of smell, and our desire to make connections. Sometimes we're so sensitive, water signs are sensitive, that we want to be alone. We want people not to be around us, you know, we're going through something. But it's also important to just be honest and open. I think when we recognize things and we speak about them, it somehow helps them be less of a threat to us. So really, if you're going through something, try and reach out, find help, find the right people. Virgo time for you is about a time to establish friendships and a time to reconnect with siblings. And you're also gleaning information. There might be short trips involved. You're more enchanted by the neighborhood and neighbors. So all of these things are things to consider at this time. Lots of considerations to be made, and there certainly is a greater flow of both information and even doing creative works, working with your hands. All of that gets enhanced. Speaking of Leo, greetings Leo, and welcome to your horoscope. So, I mean, Virgo time is about the money. This is where the money's at, you know, this is where family's at, this is where we work on our values. It also affects our throat and our voice and maybe our neck. You know, moving those shoulders, front of our face. A lot of where we develop a sense of who we are and what we're good at happens between like 7 and 14 years old. Somehow the second house is about that period of life, I've noticed. And you really get to know who you are. It's kind of like when you're starting to go to school and things happen. And I mean, thank goodness that there's a third house and that we can kind of redeem ourselves from those more awkward youth through tweens stages. I think, you know, you're going to make, financially things can be good. I wouldn't make any investments during Mercury retrograde really, because I mean, it's up to you, it's your game, and I know most Leos will discard information. I've had one that, you know, I said don't do this, went and bought a car and then regretted it after like a tarot reading, and he was like, God, I should have listened to you. I said, well, you did what you needed to do. And I've not always had good advisors, and sometimes I haven't listened to this nagging voice that allowed me to claim my power, where I felt powerless to do the right thing except listen to somebody. So there's a variety of experiences we go through. So once again, compassion, may that lead the way and stay in your heart. You know, I mean, I would say that you're safe giving to others, to making donations, you know, to helping others. And so that aspect of service, helping those who are serving others, that will actually bring more wealth in your life. There's no question about that to me. And, you know, Venus is in your first house, well, second house, you know, and so be careful not to spend too much, or eat too many sweets. Now we go to Virgo. Greetings, Virgo, and welcome to your horoscope. And I want to say happy birthday. There's a lot of Virgos in my life that are having birthdays this week. I don't know if they're watching today. Let's see, my friend Linda Starnes is going to be 62 on the 12th. My friend Jim Miller is turning 63 on the 11th. My son-in-law Ryan is turning 27 on the 14th. And my brother Mikey is turning 58 on the 14th. And just for giggles, the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, is turning 44 on the 14th. I know a lot of people born on the 14th of September, obviously. Jessica at my workplace is another one. Oh, it keeps on. The list is growing in my mind here. I see it happening. But anyhow, how do we activate who we are in the best way? Our love. You know, Venus is in our first house, so we're looking good as Virgos. You know, if you're Virgo rising right now, you're probably getting some props. You're probably getting some love in some way. And, you know, I tend to be picky. You know, I talk about Venus and Virgo as being a debilitated Venus. Why is that? Because Venus in Pisces is where it's exalted, which is about surrender. So if you really want love, it's not about criticizing your partner or being really picky. It's actually finding beauty in everyone. Oh, I see beauty there. Oh, wow, I see this quality I like about people. And when you start practicing that, you become a happier person. There's a lot of unhappy Virgos out there. Virgos tend to be really brilliant people. But part of the problem is that we need to focus our mind. We're mentally geared from the dinosaur era to think what's bad, what's wrong, what's unsafe. Oh my God, I got to get out of here. Let's move up to a place of like, hey, what's good? You know, life is wonderful. It's a world of possibilities. I can create something better right now. Let me be part of that creation. Greetings, Libra, and welcome to your horoscope. So, I mean, in some ways, I think, like for you, Venus in the 12th house right now, it's about surrender. It's about letting go. Mercury going retrograde in the first house, it's like you kind of have to second guess yourself in some ways. You're like, oh, is this really going to work out the way I said it would? I mean, you can go back thinking about the pandemic and what people said about doing certain protocols and how it really didn't go that way. You know, people still spread, people still got, people still, you know, people still died, even with, you know, double, triple vaccinated, whatever. It happened. It might be rare cases, but, you know, it's just like, whenever we go into a place of absolutes, you know, for one thing, folks, you say follow the science, realize that science is not religion, okay? Religion tends to be based on principles that are more everlasting. Science is about experimenting and learning, and that things are inconsistent, and that we don't have any ground under our feet. So we always have to be really careful about getting dogmatic about stuff like that, because we're still learning. You know, I heard that, you know, when the pandemic came out and stuff, that there was just like 108 different new papers coming out about it, studying it. And, you know, and there's a lot of people that made investments in companies that were going to make money, you know, and usually in the modern world, regardless of what alleged economic philosophy they have in running things, they're all about the money. And unfortunately, where we live, back in 1970, Richard Nixon said that medicine could be for profit, and that really changed kind of the schematics in the United States of how medicine was being practiced. It's like, well, I can make more money now? Whoa. Oh, don't get them totally better. I'll come back for more. You know, I mean, that kind of thing. We got to be careful, you know, about planned obsolescence and whatnot. So I'd say for you right now, Libra, it's also 12th house period for you. It's a time of loss. So it's like kind of lay low until we get to September 23rd, and, you know, your season has arrived, or on the 22nd. You know, it's just, and even better yet, wait till Mercury goes direct after October 2nd. Well, hello, Scorpio, and welcome to your horoscope. You know, Virgo time for you is about socializing, and it's about friends that are really helpful. You know, if there's any time of year for a Scorpio person, Scorpio rising especially, but also Scorpio moon, maybe Scorpio sun, this is the best time to have a party. this is the best time to kind of celebrate who you are and get into that vision of possibilities, what you can be, what you want to be, beyond what you ought to be. So I think I'll put it in that kind of context right now. Things are, this is a shaky time for the world in a lot of ways. Venus in Virgo means like while you're socializing, you can meet somebody who wants to date you or hang out, or there's like a sweetness, or even creating your own party, your own social situation where you invite your own people, your own select people. And I think it's really nice when you have a variety of people, genders, preferences, whatever. The richer ethnicities, the richer we can be in our diversity, the better it is to kind of like put our swords in the sand and lay them down and say, wow, I'm here to learn something new. I'm here to be vulnerable. And that vulnerability is really where the intimacy comes in. So we can see with this Mars in Gemini, that's your 8th house, kind of makes you a little bit hornier than usual. So there's that kind of danger. The Venus in Virgo thing, it kind of tempers it a bit. It's like, well, and it's also like these are Mercury ruled signs, and it's like we've got to be thoughtful about what we enter into. You tend to know a lot about the occult, tarot, astrology, things like that. You tend to be naturally better at that, unless you're one of those like complete skeptics, cynics about it. I've met those kind of Scorpios too. The doubting Thomases is what we call them. Yeah, don't go there. Don't go there. By the way, this full moon's going to be great for you, Scorpio. It's in Pisces in your 5th house. Love, love, love. Sorry it took me so long to do that. I have this habit of forgetting the moon. Sorry, moon, I love you. All right, greetings, Sagittarius. Welcome to your horoscope. Jupiter in Aries. What could be better for anyone but you? That's in your 5th house. Jupiter is a Karaka for the 5th house. That means it activates the 5th house. You become a better teacher. You become a better parent. You become someone who is giving to your children. You feel more rewarded by your children. You feel more rewarded by your creative projects. What is Virgo for Sagittarius? Well, that's the 10th house. This is where you perform things. This is where your career is, and this is where you work. In fact, it's interesting. One of my good buddies is a Sagittarian, and he does a lot of home repair stuff, so I had him over during Virgo time to help me, and it was interesting. And he had a lot to say. He's got a lot of wisdom, but at the same time I saw like there was this like little bit I felt like he's kind of overworking himself a little bit, and we just kind of have to pace ourselves and kind of sometimes we have to lower our expectations and but yeah, at the same time be good to each other. But I can understand where you feel a lot of pressure, and actually you do good work, you're looking good. We've got Mars in the 7th house. You gotta hopefully make peace, work on making peace, make that peaceful action, be active towards diplomacy, because I know in Western zodiac they say 7th house can be open enemies as well as marriage partners, and how we see in relationships how quickly things can switch over. So Shanti, 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 peace, peace, peace. Greetings, Capricorn. Welcome to your horoscope. Saturn's in the 2nd house. It's like, what's real wealth? That's a connection. And how do we deal with long-term hardships in our families? How do we deal with long-term hardships that might be affecting our throat or neck? You have to work on them. Whether it's a muscle injury, it requires yoga, or it requires not moving it for a while and wearing a neck brace, or if it's like a long-term COVID thing where you have to maybe get some acupuncture and try some alternative medicine that's within the scope of your doctor and your medical practitioners that are helping you. That's the way to go. There are many, I just want to say that there is hope. Don't ever give up hope. And the hope is always in our self-love. And it also is in timing. That's one thing Capricorns really know about. So Virgo time is generally fortuitous sign for Capricorn. It's the 9th house. It's considered the luckiest house in the zodiac. Venus is there. Maybe you're lucky in love right now. I like that. You know, anybody who's lucky in love, I'm happy for you. If you're doing good in finances right now, I'm happy for you. We're here for less suffering. Mercury retrograde. Boy, that could affect things at work for you. Consider that. The full moon. That's going to be more about your siblings and things in your own neighborhood. So I think that's a good preview of what's up right now. Well, greetings Aquarius, and welcome to your horoscope. So Saturn's in your first house, you know, and I mean, Saturn is kind of like a caution sign, really. Dangerous curves ahead, go down to 20 miles per hour. You think, oh, I know I could do it at 35, then I'm going to push it. Well, if the road's wet, oh no, you know. Actually had a friend hydroplane her car in June in Idaho and just totaled it and really messed her body up. And it's just sort of like, we have to be careful at times, you know. We have to look at that in caution. Now, I mean, moon's in Pisces today, so that would be like your second house. You're watching this Friday, and of course tonight's the full moon. Early this morning, my calendar says it's Saturday. Well, it is Saturday, but it's going to be peaking tonight. You know, if you're looking at Saturday night, it's not going to be, it's going to be shrinking at that point. So it's like, when I address full moons, I like people to catch the energy as it's growing. And this could be a lucky night for you as far as wealth and business. That looks good. Let's talk about this whole Mercury retrograde in Virgo. Well, that's other people's money, you know, and so it's kind of like your partner that you're with, if you're in a relationship, their wealth might get eroded, you know, and it's like, give support, say, hey hon, don't do anything right now, well, let's wait till October 2nd, let's think about this. Oh, but the sale might be off, you know, and this is how salespeople work. It's like, fear of lack, fear of missing out, you know, people do that with parties, everything. It's like, please don't be in your fear place, be in your heart. How does this really feel? When we get to that place, we make less mistakes. How does this really feel? Okay, that's what I want to give you. And you're going through a personal transformation, and it's best to lay low if you're an Aquarian during Virgo time. That's my experience. Things will get better, especially after October 2nd. All right. Greetings Pisces, welcome to your horoscope. So you've got Jupiter in the second house, so that's kind of expanding both wealth and debt in some ways. It's like you want to buy things more, you kind of want to take more risks, but you're also rewarded with a little more economic stability. Virgo time is the partner sign for Pisces. And Venus is there in the 7th house. Love, love, love. Ooh, you know, love is so wonderful. Boy, when we take the time to just share a really good 20-second hug with somebody and the oxytocin flows, that is magic. We want to be with that magic, you know, take a few deep breaths with that person. That is just so healing. It gives you all those warm fuzzies. We need more warm fuzzies, folks. Less sharp pricklies. I get it. And you know, the people that do have sharp pricklies, they're the ones that really need the warm fuzzies the most. They're the ones that really need that counsel that puts them in their heart and shows that, hey, maybe you're not feeling so good today. I want to discover, not be afraid of you, but really, you know, I want to befriend you. It's that person that can befriend, you know, the angry wolf, the charging elephant. That's our gift. And while you have this love in your heart and you're in this wonderful place, you're going to have a full moon, moon's in your sign, full moon tonight, you know, kind of that energy certainly will carry over into Saturday night and Sunday. And then, you know, then it's going to be about, you know, back to work, making money, taking care of family, and making new friends this week. I see that as well. And, you know, you have to watch out for miscommunication with your partner. All in all, I'm expecting a glorious week for all. Thank you for tuning into my show. Please don't forget to like it, to share it, to subscribe. I want more subscribers. I love your comments. Keep them coming, keep them coming, keep them coming. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Tat Sat.